So I honestly feel a little bit stupid. Kazuha is better than I thought, and he's not a little bit better, he's way better. And I think I made a mistake back when I talked about his banner before. One of my biggest worries is, well, I've got a Venti, why would I even need Kazuha? But I think that they fill very different roles. They're both amazing Animo supports, and honestly, if you want to put them together and just spam different abilities, you could do that as well. But I didn't look at the true value of this character, and I feel bad about it. Now, I wished on the banner even though I didn't see the potential because I wanted Razor. I mean, don't get me wrong, Razor's cool and all, but I wasn't even looking at the 5-star, and that's the first time I've ever done that. I went for C6 Razor, and I was actually looking for Rosaria and Bennett constellations. I got some Rosaria, I got some Bennett, but I got a whole bunch of Razor. And I ended up getting Kazuha through the process. Not even really planned. I got him. And he's so much better than I thought he was. And one of my biggest worries was constellations for him. Because I see this first one, I'm like, damn, that shit's OP. And then I look at this one, and I'm like, oh my god, that one's OP. And so I was kind of worried that he'd feel lackluster if you didn't have these constellations. I was like, it's kind of reminding me of Klee. Klee was one of these characters that she gets so much better with constellations. I was just worried. But if I would have just done the math, if I would have just seen the potential, if I would have just looked at the data mining before I made that video, I would have realized, holy shit, Kazuha is cracked. And I want to explain why. But first, quick word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Filmora Go, an easy-to-use video editing app with a ton of features, and it is free to download. Just click the link down below and get started today. Whether you're posting on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, Filmora Go gives you the tools to make your content stand out. Whether you're just trimming down your footage, adding music, or even some of the funny stickers that are available on Filmora Go, this app has pretty much everything you need to look like a pro while you're posting. And because they're always updating this bad boy, you're never going to run out of that juicy content. The fact you have all these features and can do this on your phone is absurd. I mean, look at all this. And I mentioned it's free, right? You can get started for free right now with the link down below. So what are you waiting for? Get started on that project, wow your audience, and enjoy Filmora Go. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into the content. Also, if you use that link down below, consider giving them a 5-star rating if you enjoy the app. So, number one thing here is craftable weapon Iron Sting. I think this is a very accessible weapon as long as you have the weapon prototype. But if you're doing Inazuma, you get one from the tree, and if you did the event, a little while ago, you might even have this thing sitting around. Where are you? Hello? That one? This one? This? Maybe even have this one. And there will be more of these in the future, I'm sure. But the Iron Sting, you don't need a bunch of constellations or refinements for this thing. Just crafting one of them, this is a great tool for Kazuha. He's got 510 base attack, but 165 elemental mastery. And here is where the beauty lies in our boy. So we're gonna do a little calculation. 0.04 times 165 just from equipping his weapon and doing a swirl reaction. You can get 6.6% bonus elemental damage on the element of your choosing while you're swirling in game. That's what this does, right? And it lasts for 8 seconds. And there's no cooldown, so you can just keep going over and over and over and over again. So the uptime on this is like 100%. But even on my Kazuha, I don't think that I've got the craziest artifact set here. I've got a 58, okay? That one's pretty good. I've got a 40. That one's pretty good, okay? But I don't have any elemental mastery on multiple of my items. I've got a scuffed-ass build with a purple, right? I've never had this thing leveled up. This goblet's not even leveled up. But when I use this Kazuha, he's giving my team 20% elemental damage increase with those swirls. Now, it has to be swirling the particular element, but that's fine. That's really easy to force. But you can swirl multiple elements and just stack it up on everyone on your team. If you look at my D-Luke here and you look at my details, I've got a 61% pyro damage bonus, right? And he's going to get more of it as he uses his abilities. But we're at 61%. Our Xingqiu here is at 66 Watch this. We're gonna run in, and we're gonna do a swirl with Xingqiu. And look, he's Hydro. I can do like this. I can just do like a quick one like that. Okay. Now we look at our details. I'm at 86. I got 20% more Hydro damage because I pressed a button. He's got a Pyro damage bonus and a Hydro damage bonus. I just wanted to be sure I had them all. Okay? Are you kidding me? He's got both on him. And no, you can't use both of them, but you can have uptime on all your characters. And that is sick. Now imagine if I was getting 35% or 40% because I stacked that much elemental mastery. Oh, me just thinking about it gets me a little turned on. Venti has a black hole, okay? Venti's got a black hole, and I was worried that Kazuha would not be able to compete. But I mean, it's big enough. Like, it's big enough. What more could you want? Look at that, it's still sucking him in. What more could you want? I mean, that's a black hole to me. And so, I underestimated the value of that. I underestimated how big that actually was going to be. So even if Kazuha can't group things quite as well as Venti, he's probably better at supporting your team if you don't care about that. And against bigger enemies, he's probably better, which is crazy to say. Against a whole bunch of trash mobs, I think Venti wins, but Kazuha is amazing. You're getting increased swirl damage, you're shredding their resistances, and you're giving your team more, right? You're giving them essentially like a 2-piece set more. No, this one. Like, this is a 15% bonus, right? I'm giving them more than that just built in, just by playing the character. Now, this ability also means that he can hit really hard, and I've got a level 1 attack, okay? You actually need to level this up. I don't have the books. You need to level up all the talents on Kazuha to really make him shine, because typically supports, you don't do it. But when you're using Kazuha and you launch yourself in the air and you're slamming down on the enemies, by leveling up this and all of your other abilities, when you pair it with this, you're gonna hit so damn hard, and you can even trigger some of like the, vaporizes and things like that, and get a huge damage multiplier on top of it. So this is gonna one-bang people. I'm telling you, it's gonna one-bang. And this one might seem small, but decreasing stamina for sprinting is really valuable. And in some of the Spiral Abyss, like the first Spiral Abyss, you were frozen all the time, and it would slow you down, and you'd run out of stamina. I mean, not running out of stamina as much is great. And if you're dodging a whole bunch of enemies, depending on how good your account is, you might need to do a whole bunch of dodging because you're not killing stuff in 2 seconds. This is great. One of the best passives in the game, even if it's a little bit out of sight, out of mind. Gold item, taken up to max level, has 187 elemental mastery built in. You can throw that on your helmet, on your timepiece, and I believe your goblet. The only slots that can get that. And what does that give you? 187 times 3. We're already at 561. You throw in the Iron Sting, you're already at 726. You kidding me? Getting to 800 isn't that tough. You get a couple pieces with some elemental mastery on it, you're vibing. And then you have to consider, if we were to get to that 800 range, right? 800 times 0.04 is 32%. I thought it was 35. 32% bonus damage. You could consider, instead of going an Anemo Cup, going for all elemental mastery, and you're buffing your team up a whopping 32%. That is pretty insane. We're talking about a goblet being thrown in on top of your damage. An entire golden goblet of damage being thrown on! Are you kidding me? I'm really happy with this character, and I haven't even maxed him out yet or used the optimal artifacts. This is what I'm going to be working on next, most likely, is getting him an absolutely cracked Verdescent set and taking him up all the way to 90 so that his swirls are hitting as maxed as they can. Typically, you don't take characters to 90, but for him, I'm going to go all the way to 90. Swirl gets damage based on your level. And so going to 90 is how you unlock that maximum amount of damage. It's then going to, scale with this artifact and get 60% more damage. And, at this point, why not? Because, guess what? His main stat, when you ascend him, is Elemental Mastery. So he's going to get even stronger the next time I ascend him. And if you somehow do get C2, I mean, this is utterly broken, giving them even more value. This character is so good, I am contemplating saving for his next banner and getting him to C2. It would take a ton of resources, but if I'm looking at the meta, if I'm looking at how valuable this character could be, I'm considering it. And I've never considered doing that. Maybe Ganyu getting C1, but I've never considered doing that. But between C1 giving you an extra charge, essentially, of your E ability, the amount of energy generation you can do here, the cooldown reduction on this, getting Elemental Mastery, and boosting your team, these are insane for your damage. And as a meta player, I should have realized this. And as a free-to-play player, I think that's one of the reasons why, is because I assume I'm not going to get 5-star constellations, and most of you aren't. But Jesus Christ, this character's good, and he just gets even better if you keep on going, and you start giving him more of these stats. C6 is interesting because you can, almost turn him into a main DPS, but even just C2. If you just took him to C2, this is a god-tier unit. But I don't know if you want to be spending money or all your Primo Gems on just one character. Because even at C0, I think that Kazuha is way better than I even said, and if you skipped him because of me, I feel like I owe you a couple Primo Gems. The good news is, this character will come back. But I think I was blinded by the fact that Venti's in the game and I own him, and I didn't have a lot of hype for him. I made a mistake, and I think that Kazuha is going to be a very popular banner going down the road. I also think that this is one of the most fun characters in the game. He's just a joy to play. So if you skipped because of me, I'm sorry, but at least I'm making this video now because, well, he'll be back. And I know I'm probably going to be going for a constellation, or even 2. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.